Hey guys, more great stuff for you and your kids. Um, so we know that it's really important that you're developing these fundamental skills for not only sport, but for life as well, depending on which kind of branch you want to go to and whether you get out of the sporting arena earlier or later in your teens or your 20s. Um, Today, this video, we're going to talk about how much is right. The balance. Is it, do I play, 7 sports with my kids? Do I focus on one? And it is a little bit more kind of it's subjective once you kind of get into some things, and that's why it's really important you talk with an educated coach who has a good background with this. So we love threes, and today we're going to talk about the balance between 3 different types of things. And I'm going to draw this kind of this relationship. It's a delta. It's an upside down pyramid. It's a triangle. And on one end, we're going to have play. Down here, we're going to have practice. You can see that. And is that showing up? All right, cool. And then we have sport. So basically, we need a synergy of all these. All 3 of these really kind of are important that we're getting a balance of all these 3. Early development, we want a lot more play, really not much practice, definitely no sport. And by sport, I mean, it's not that when you're 6-year-old and you sign your 6-year-old up for spring soccer, that I'm going to tell you that's wrong. And in fact, I'm going to tell you that's a great start right there, especially in the New River Valley. We have some great leagues. But the focus should not be on winning and tactics. Like, let's just kick the ball. Let's socialize. I'm definitely not one of those parents who says that winning isn't important. I do think it is important that we stress teamwork and an ultimate kind of group objective. But winning is definitely not number one. We don't want our kids to be the best at 8 years old and wind up in jail at 18, or not be able to play a sport. So definitely winning is not the main objective. At the same time, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of competitiveness, but at age 6, we're not playing this. We might be playing a sport. We're playing a sport, but we're not trying to win the sport. We're not trying to win. That's not the most important. So a lot of play on the beginning, very little bit of practice, then sport. Then, maybe you get to the age 6, 7, 8. You can take some of the play away. It doesn't mean that you stop doing anything, but it turns into a little bit more practice, more like formalized practice in the form of learning these skills, throwing, catching, running. I don't think that we're focused on the sport aspect here. So that could be like a 90-10-0 when you're starting off, then like a 80-20-0. Then eventually, some sports you might want to kind of get into a little bit earlier than later. The girls tend to mature a little bit quicker. You tend to have the early developmental sports a little bit earlier, like gymnastics or swimming. Then you can start looking at the sport, and it's still, there's just kind of numbers I'm throwing out there. It might be like 60, 30, 10, something like that. It could be 50, 40, 10 as you get a little bit older. Then once we get into the teen years, once we've gone through the 3 phases of development and we have established physical literacy and we have this kind of base of support, then if you decide you want to go in the sporting route, okay, things start to kind of ramp up here a little bit more in the sporting aspect. If you decide in the teen years that you just want to have a happy, healthy life and you want to participate in sports, then you are physically literate and you have the ability to go and play sports that you want and actually have some success. It doesn't mean that you're going to be, city champ or you're going to go into the Olympic developmental team, but it means that you can have a happy, healthy life and you can be physically active and participate in the sports that you want to. Once we start getting into like the later teen years, that's when kind of this focus on the training to win. That's when that starts to kind of be more in the, right there in front of us. And there's less play, more practice, more sport. But it doesn't mean that we're playing the sport, 80% of the time, and we're only practicing 20 and there's no play. You still need to have this play time in here. We still need to have a little downtime. And so what happens is we think sport and we're always doing it. This right here, this play will lead to the ability to practice, which allows you to fulfill your ultimate, ultimate goal for some folks in displaying these skills that we developed here into sport. Hopefully this helps. If you have any questions, reach out to me. Thanks.